Hello guys, uh, let's start today's lesson. Today what we're going to do is we'll continue with Microsoft Word. I hope you learned how to use Smart Art Graphic in Microsoft Word. I was actually thinking of moving towards Excel, but then there is one important tool that is, I mean, it's important. So I thought of covering that tool before we proceed towards Excel, and that tool is it's quite simple actually. It's tables. So today for this particular exercise and the lesson, I'll be teaching you how to create and work with tables in Microsoft Word. So let's get started. Um, so this is my Microsoft uh, document and application window. So as you know, this is the page, and I'm sure you've tried all these different types of uh, standard formatting tools, and plus we also did Smart Art Graphic. From here we've already done shapes and clip art, not to forget text box and word art also. uh, what I want you to do is, I might not specifically give you assignments on these things that we've already done, so but I'll be expecting you to use um, these tools in your while doing your assignments. I want you to use these tools to your assignments. Okay. Apart from that, we also did margin and orientation. This is also something that we have to practice. I can't give you an exercise based only on margin, orientation, or size. You'll have to, um, you know, use these tools while you take up or while you're using Microsoft Word. We've also done page border and page color. Right. So today what we are going to do is, let me just show you what you will be doing. So now the objective for today's class is pretty simple. By the end of this class, we will be able to create something like this. Uh, I've created this. Um, this is my schedule. It's not the schedule that I actually follow. Uh, I've just created to show you a table. So since I could not think of anything else, I just thought of creating my schedule and showing you how. I'll be showing you how I created this one using tables in Microsoft Word. All right. So this is the objective. So we are learning how to create such kind of table. Right. So let's get started. So this is the page. First thing, before you actually dive into tables, there are a few things that you'll have to keep in mind. Now, if you think your table is going to be pretty long, you'll have quite a number of columns and lesser number of rows, then I suggest you to work, um, in a landscape layout. All right. So if you think you'll have more number of columns, I think you need more space, a wider kind of space. So I suggest you to change the orientation to landscape. Right. If you have less number of columns and more number of rows, then you can go for portrait. Okay. So according to the when I look into the size of my column, then I need more space horizontally. That's why I've chosen first of all to change the orientation. So first, before we move into creating a table, we will first change the orientation to landscape. After doing that also, I want you to, now the second part you should be doing is change the margin. As I've said in my earlier video, I usually go with the narrow, the preset margin, or you can also use custom margin and just change the margin, especially on the left and the right, because I need more space this way horizontally. So I need more space on the left and the right. So left and my right margin will be uh, smaller or narrow. So those are the two things. First is orientation, change it to landscape, and margin, set the margin to most probably narrow. Narrow, I think, will be sufficient. All right, now I have a nice white kind of paper. Now let's start. What? Inserting a table. So now the next thing you'll have to keep in mind is you should know what column and rows are. Okay, the meaning of column and a row. So I'm sure you know this, but still, let me tell you, columns are the vertical divisions. Okay, vertical divisions of either a table or a column or anything. It's a vertical divisions are columns, and horizontal lines or horizontal divisions are rows. Okay, horizontal divisions and lines are called rows. So here, if you look at days, these are all rows. Tuesday is a row, Wednesday is a row, but 8 to 9 p.m., 9 to 10 p.m., 10 to 11 p.m., these are all columns. So if you look at my table here, I have altogether how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 columns. And if I look at the number of rows, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are 8 columns and 5 rows. Now this is something which you should know before you actually create a table, because now let me take you to the tool of how to let me show you the tool how to insert a table. So we basically go to insert, and there's this button that says insert or draw table into the document. So as I told you, you should know the number of columns and rows that you need for your table. So that time we counted there were 8 columns and 5 rows. So here you can directly go either to insert table, or you could choose this particular grid also. Now this one shows 1 column and 1 table, 1 column and 1 row. This is 2 columns and 1 row. So all these horizontal ones are rows, and the vertical ones are all columns. So depending upon how many columns and how many rows you want, choose that many columns and tables. So there are altogether 10 columns over here, and I need only 8, so I have selected 8. So you can see the details up here also, just above the this line up here. It says 9 into 1 table, so I need 8 columns, and how many rows? I needed 5. So I'll just take it till 5. So this is the, I think, the number of columns and uh, number of rows. Okay, but I actually don't want to create this many. At least I don't want 8 columns. There is a reason why I don't want this, because later I want you to also show how to add columns and rows. So let me just minimize this to maybe, yeah, 6 to 3 table. All right, if we need, we'll add more columns and rows. So now what we'll do is, so this is how we can insert a table. There is another option also called draw table, but then I usually don't prefer draw table. All right, let's start with this one, and then maybe in our future classes I'll tell you how we can effectively use draw table. Okay, so for now we'll just use this particular thing. All right, or you could just click on insert table also. Insert table will also give you, it will ask you how many columns and how many rows. Just fill in that many and then click OK. Right, okay. Now the next thing is, all right, I'll quickly teach you how to delete a table also. If you want to delete this table, supposing you don't want this table, you messed up the number of columns and rows, you want to start all over again, so maybe you want to delete this table, so just right click on this block, okay, and there's this button called delete button, delete table. So delete, right? Insert table, or use this one. Let's go to insert table, number of columns 5, let's increase it to 3, and make sure your insertion point is at the point where you want the table. If you want the table up here, keep the insertion point there. If you want the table somewhere here, all right, press the enter key and bring the insertion point down there, all right, here, and then you have to insert. All right, so depending upon wherever you want the table, keep the insertion point there, go up to table, draw that many number of tables. All right, if you want to delete, right click and delete table. Okay, pretty simple, right? Okay, now let's move on to creating something like this. Now you can see that uh, the formats and all have changed here. There's this purple kind of background, red font, green background. Some fonts are written this way, some are bold, and so all these are different kind of formatting, which we'll do a bit later. So you can see that these are all columns and the horizontal ones are rows. Okay, each of these boxes are called cells. Cells is, it's nothing, just an intersection of a row and column. Okay, so these boxes are called cells. So there are many cells here. All right, in whichever cell you want to write, just click on that and write. So writing inside a table is pretty easy. Just click on the cell that you want, right, and then write. Clear? If you want to go to the next line, press enter, write. Press enter, write. So it's pretty simple. Okay. Uh, After this, let me show you how to change the size of your row or column. Okay, if you want to change the width of this row, you have to take the pointer on the line. As you take the pointer on the line, be careful. The pointer should look like this. It should have a parallel kind of line with two arrows pointing on the two sides. Okay, not this one. See, if you take the pointer away, it changes to this one. If you bring it slightly closer, it turns to a black cross. But if you keep it right upon the line, it changes to this particular thing, pointer. So click and drag it now. Click and drag. Okay, click and drag. Okay, so make sure the pointer is in this form. Click and drag. Similarly for column also, if you want to change the height of the row, okay, click and drag. Just take it on the line and drag. Click and drag. It will automatically adjust itself, right? So if I increase this, if I increase the size, the width of a row, the size of the table will remain constant no matter if I increase or decrease. Similarly, the height of the row, the height of the table will uh, change if I increase or decrease. Okay. So this line came here. I just need to take this way. Okay, I messed it up a little. All right. Yeah. So this is how we change the size of the width of a column or the height of a row. Okay. Now the next thing is, let me show you how to align the table also. If I just decrease the size of the table, all right, now I have decreased the size of the table. Now you can see that it's slightly on the left, maybe it's left aligned. So if I want to change the alignment, if I want to bring it to the center of the page, then I again click on the block that will select the entire table, and then I just go to center or right or left. Okay, so let me keep it in the center for now. And it looks nice, neat and tidy. I'll just increase the size of the column, I mean the table, right? Here you go. Okay, now I was talking about this one. You can see there are number of cells here. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cells. But if you look at this one, there is only one, meaning all those cells have been merged. So how to merge is also pretty simple. Just click and drag. Right? Click and drag all those cells that you want to merge. Now you can see there are again two dedicated tabs for this table. Go to layout. Alright, go to layout and then click on merge cells. If I merge, what happens is whatever cells that I have selected, all those cells will combine into one. It will get merged to one. So here you go. Alright. I'm again undoing it so that I can show you uh, another example. So if I just want to merge these three cells, select those three cells, merge, select and merge this way. select and merge. Now if I want to split this into more cells, just the reverse of the opposite of kind of merge, so that's called split cells. So split cells into how many columns and rows? See, I've given 8 columns, or maybe even more. Let's say 12 columns and 3 rows. Okay, so this is how it's going to look. 12 columns and 3 rows. That's split. And combining is merge. Okay. Now, if you look at the size, the width of the column, it's different. Okay. So we will try to match it with this one. So we'll change this to maybe somewhere here for Monday and Tuesday. This was for breakfast and lunch were also small, maybe of the same size. Yes, and then we had a wider thing for this particular block. Then we had lunch, which was again small. Then we had 2 which were of equal size, maybe something like this. Okay, yeah, I think it kind of matches with the, oh, we have 3. All right, so there are more number of columns here. There are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. We need one more column, so we could go to any column. Okay, right click and click on insert. Again, we right click, insert, stay in any column or row. Okay, so supposing I want it somewhere here, so I'll go here, right click and insert, right or left. Where do you want? From wherever your insertion point is. If you want it, if you want an extra column on the left, go with this option. If you want it on the right, then click on insert column to the right. Okay, so now I have this many columns, and I think these 3 should be slightly smaller. Okay, this again has 2 columns now because I just inserted, so let's not a problem. We'll just have to merge this, merge, and it looks kind of perfect to me. I think it's not these. Yeah, it looks kind of okay for me now. Yeah, now let's start writing. So as I've already shown, writing is pretty easy. So what we're going to do is we are going to write my schedule, and here we had Monday and Tuesday, TUESD on Tuesday. We don't have a row for Wednesday, so we are going to insert. So right click again, and this time the insertion point is here, so we need a, a row below this one. Okay, so please keep that in mind. So we'll go to insert, row below, Wednesday, and if you want the row for Thursday also, again right click and insert, left. Okay, sorry, insert, row below. Okay, so that way you just continue. I am not formatting now because I want to format everything together. We'll just look at this one. Okay, so this is 8 to 9, 9 to 10, 10 to 1, 1 to 2. Alright, so we'll just write that the same thing, 8 to 9, then 9 to 10, then 10 to 1, alright, and so on. And here I think I've written breakfast, and then, oh no, this was breakfast actually. I'm going to cut this and I'm going to paste it here. I'm going to write exercise. This was, I think, lunch, and then there are a few things I'm just going to randomly fill in. Alright, detailing, I don't want to type details. Now the next thing, okay, I'll give this some numbers over here. Alright, okay, now let's say I have finished writing. Now let's see. Again, these 3 cells are merged. Breakfast is also merged. Lunch. So what we are going to do is we are going to merge these 3 cells So I've selected those 3 cells. This time I've selected vertically. So I go to layout, merge. Again the same thing, merge, and launch also I have to merge. Okay. So now I'm basically focusing. So what I'm trying to do is I'm just trying to fix the layout first, and then I'm going to change the font, right? So the sizes of the column and rows, merging, the alignment of the table. So first I'm fixing all those, and then after I'm done with that, then I'll move on to changing the font color, size, font, and all those. Yeah. So now the second thing is, now I think we can start with the font and all. All right. Now, interestingly, this is written vertically, right? So now we'll check those kind of detail. All right. So we'll start with my schedule. My schedule. Okay, everything is in the center, so I'm going to select the whole thing. Now, to format the text, what we have to basically do is select it this way. All right. Select it, put it in the center, or even go to layout, and there are some options over here for alignments, right? So if you notice, I have brought it in the center, but vertically it is at the top of the cell. If you look over here, my schedule is clearly at the top. I would want somewhere over here in the middle. If you look here, all these text, even if you look at the time here, this is in the center, both horizontally as well as vertically. All right. So I want the same thing for my text also. So what I'm going to do is I'm again going to select it. All right. And now I'll move on to this one. This is top left. This is center top. This is top again right. So I want center from both horizontally and vertically. So I want this one. Looks better now. I think the height of this particular column is too tall, so I'm going to just shorten it a little so that it looks similar. Yeah. All right. And I think I have to increase the height of these three. So I'm going to increase the height of these three to maybe something like this. All right. Let me just keep it this way. Now what we are going to do is we are going to change the color and all those, the font. So first thing, this one has a purple background, red font. Okay, so I'll select that. I go to red and then purple background. This is the fill color. All right, purple. All right. Now I have to change the size and the font. So the font over here I have used is Waltograph. This is that Disney font again, and the size is 20. So I'm going to apply the same thing. I'm going to make it 20, and I'm going to apply Walt Disney font. Okay, so now it looks identical. For the second one, I think they've used 10. The font size is 10, and I think the font is default Calibri only, and it has green background. So green fill color. I'll go here. The green fill color, and the size has to be 10. Now this way you will try to make it, I mean, match your work with this one. Okay, and then let's do this part. Okay, it's written vertically. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these texts, go to layout. All right, now there's something called text direction. Just click once, it faces on the left. I don't want this, it has to face towards the right. So again, click one more time. Now it is facing here. Did you see that? Okay, now just a matter of changing the font and the size. So I'm going to again select this. I think the font was Algeria, and the size I think was maybe 12. Let's see. Yeah, I think it was something like this. Now Y did not fit in this height, so just click and then change it. Again click, change. Okay, just to make it even, I'll give more space here so that the height, because Wednesday I think is quite tall. It looks very tall compared to Monday and Tuesday's row. So I'm going to make it look same by giving that extra height for those two rows. Yeah, I think it looks same height now. Right, now what else? What else? So this is basically exercise, breakfast and lunch looks bold. So let's embold this, right? Let's embold it. Done. Now the next part is this particular text is italic. So I'm going to change this to italic. Change this to italic. So if you write more, I think it will same. Okay. So I think that's it. No? Did we achieve the exactly the same thing? Yes, I think it looks almost the same. Just the text. I've just typed random text. Well, so that's it. So this is the lesson for this particular assignment. Now I'll be giving you an assignment through. I'll be emailing you the assignment. But before again you start the assignment, please try and practice this. Okay, every week. I mean every day, at least 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever time you can spend. Okay, just do that. Practice before you take up the assignment. If there's any further question or any kind of clarification you want from me, uh, give me a call or just WhatsApp. I'll get back to you. Stay safe. Bye.